Okay.
And what it do, folks? It is your boy Charles Younger here, coming with you, Maryland live at the Voice of College Football, bringing you the best college football talk in the nation, in the world, in the galaxy, in the universe. I am joined along with Professor G or Mark Gray. What
What's
did you,
up?
sir? How we doing today?
I'm feeling good. Feeling
Yeah,
good in the
yes,
neighborhood,
sir.
as one likes to say.
Yeah,
Had a fun. I think we had a pretty fun week, although it was hot as hell outside. I think I lost
I
about
mean,
7 pounds on media day in College Park.
yeah, carrying around my equipment from my car, which is only surprisingly not that far. It was a struggle to get from the parking lot to the field to the press box, but luckily the press box AC was working
Yeah,
magnifique.
it
So
was. Um,
yeah, and we did take a lot. We did, but in the long run, first of all, before we get started, I just want to remind everybody to follow all of us at all of our social media here. You can follow me, Charles Younger, at CharlesNyonga, and Mark Gray. You can follow him at The Sports Groove across all social media platforms. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe this link to all your friends, family, and even your worst enemy. Everybody
yeah,
deserves good
everybody.
news. Sometimes everybody can catch this. You know what I'm saying? So,
Wow, you
but
sound like you was in Mike Loxley's locker room before practice the other day or something.
yeah, I got the coach's pep talk today. I'm ready to roll. I'm
Oh, did
excited
you?
about this season. I'm
Yeah.
excited about this season as a alumni, as a fan, as a resident of the state of Maryland. I'm excited about this season as we look to bounce back from a 4-8 year last year to get back to bowl contention and possibly a college football playoff spot, since our schedule is a little lighter than normal, since we have a 18 team Big Ten. We don't have to face some of the big dogs this season. We don't have to face Ohio State or Penn State. We do face Michigan. We do face Washington, and so those are some couple. And we do face Indiana on homecoming. So those are a few games that we're looking forward to this year. That is going to have us. Basically, I would say let people know where we stand as a football program from this year moving forward.
Well, if you believe the energy that we felt and the athletes that we saw, both the imports and the NIL guys, Maryland is a big team and they're fast. Those
Mm-hmm.
are two key elements to trying to turn it around. They've got uh, uh, 3 or 4 quarterbacks. Two of whom you definitely say will be in the running to start. They're loaded at so many places on the offense, and defensively they bringing some NFL savvy down with them. So all things right now going into the season, you can't do anything but feel confident about what Maryland is doing with their football program, because quite frankly, um, I appreciated Loxley's candor when he started talking about NFL and paying kids. It is about you pay for your performance, and if you don't perform, you won't get paid.
Mm-hmm.
Free market enterprise system that we're working in now, it's just made its way to intercollegiate athletics, and Maryland's got a lot to sell to a kid, especially an African American kid who's a great athlete from around the country, just for the social life alone. It's a lot different here than it is most places that they grow up in. So you got stuff to sell. And Chuck, the bigger thing is, to me, is the behind the scenes stuff that they're doing. I mean, we got plenty of time a little bit later on in the show, but there are layers to what they have done since hiring Jim Smith as the athletic director. They pull two folks from the Ohio State tree. When Ohio State was going to Final Fours in basketball and, playing for the Rose Bowl or one of those games back in the day, they were able to get some of that savvy. And I really like the fact that they've got, I think, Gene Smith, who was the Ohio State AD, as an analyst now. that helps to set the athletic tone and how you prepare yourself in this landscape of college football. And I think the football team looks good, but Team Maryland as an administration looks even better. That's going to make them a solid program. And going into this season, you get the feeling there's a lot more confidence despite 4-8. Mike Loxley's really retrospective about what he could have done better, looking and calling himself, quote, like a parent. We heard that throughout his speech. So this isn't, hyperbole. This is what the guy was saying. So the mindset has shifted. I think where the basketball program had kind of taken a step up to the Big Ten, the football team had to get to the Big Ten heavyweight level. I think Maryland's there now. It's just a matter of getting it done on the field on a weekly basis. And I'm anxious to see what's up.
I wouldn't say they're heavyweight yet. I say they're more cruiserweight, working their way up to heavyweight. So they're trying to pack on a few extra pounds to become a true heavyweight.
I think they light heavyweight, man.
Maybe.
I'm serious. Yes. They're like Indiana was last year.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah, we did get a chance to talk to all three, to head coach, offensive coordinator, and defensive coordinator. We got to talk to a few of the players. We will hear from them a little later, but a couple other takeaways I took from the press conference. The press conference was, like you said earlier, Coach likes to talk about being like a parent. He also talk about having a foundation, solid foundation to build upon, where he can take what we have this year, and promote those guys. Promote this program and bring in more talent next year, year on. Because I think Loxley is in for the long haul. Coach Pep is in for the long haul, and Coach Matriano is also in for the long haul when it comes to making Maryland a legit competitor in the Big Ten.
For real. And again, like I said, Chuck, it starts with the mindset at the top. At least on paper right now, those who were worried about where they were going to go as a program when Damon Evans left can breathe a little easier now. Question becomes, how big can you deliver next year on the field? Well, this year, I should say. I would suspect, and there are a lot of people that are actually talking about this on campus, bigger than the Big Ten. You're playing for a spot in the college football playoffs. I mean, I like the fact you get a transfer receiver who played with some speed from this area, leaving Oklahoma to come home and finish.
How crazy is that? I don't want to play Oklahoma. I don't want to play at OU. I want to come to play at Maryland. Talk about that.
I'm a Maryland kid,
Yes.
And like I said, we do it different here. All right.
Mm-hmm.
We just gotta face the fact, we do it different. I mean, Maryland colors may be red and black, but this is still a blue state, right? Mm-hmm. So It is what it is. And a kid wanted to come home. He probably was getting the same kind of break off financially that he was getting from OU. And I like that, man, because he's seen another level and he brings another level to the team. And that is so big. And what's happened is so many other states and major programs have recruited it well. SEC just, cleaned up in Prince George's County, sending people all the way down to from Alabama, Florida. I mean, and kids were getting out of here. And those kids that weren't able to, get back home and because there was no free agency. Mm-hmm. And I think, Chuck, as we move this thing along, Turf fan, since these are pro athletes now, all right, we're going to have to start looking at it in the context of per sport, free agency, a 2-year deal. Mm-hmm. Those are things, unless, Saint Nick Saban colludes and tries to put the kibosh on it. I mean, it's funny how he's an advocate. Well, he's not an advocate for a player free agency when he had probably the deepest pockets of any coach in America while they were winning championships. They were just called boosters. You know what I mean? So
Yeah. And it's funny, like when players make money under the table, it's all good for the coaches, but now they're making money above board. And coaches have a problem with that because now they have to realize maybe I wasn't that good of a coach or recruiter. Maybe it's just the fact that players had no other option if they wanted to make it to the next level. Now they have more of an option in case they don't make the next level. They do have financial security that will take care of them post college playing career.
At least for a while. Yeah, but like you said, post college playing career. Yeah, because these are career moves and business decisions prior to graduation. That's what it is. And you got a skill set that's valuable, your marketable commodity. I've always been get yours, fellas and ladies now too. And we're here. But with that comes responsibility. And to Loxley's point, when you're paid to play ball, you got to play ball. And they went out and they signed some pretty expensive contracts by Maryland standards to get some players up in there. And they spent money in coaching. I mean, at this stage of his career, I don't know what the numbers are, but Pep Hamilton doesn't come cheap.
No, Pep comes with 25 years of coaching experience. He's coached in several levels. He's coached at college. He's coached in the pros. He's coaching the XF, now UFL. So he's seeing success in different aspects of the game. So and then Coach Mastrioni, who's also coached 33 years in the game, won a Super Bowl with the Ravens.
Right.
That's you can't that kind of experience it's priceless. You can't. There's no price tag you can put on that.
It's not. And Monachino is a guy that I could play for too. It would appear.
Yeah.
I mean, this dude steps to the mic intense.
And we will hear from him too later. But first, I want to listen to Coach Loxley's opening statement from the press conference this past Wednesday, and let the fans know what he has to say about this team coming up in 2025.
As always, really appreciative of the coverage that we receive from you guys daily, and I know our players are excited about getting back started today. It's great to be back. As we head into practice number 1 later today, I know that our message has been simple. As we entered into our team meeting yesterday, anything and everything that took place a year ago, we've ripped off the rearview mirror, and it's moving forward only. I'm really confident that we have this strong foundation. You hear me talk a lot about the foundation, and I've said it before, we've had the resources to build the foundation, and what we want to do now is take the next step, which is to elevate. And the reason that I feel good about the foundation is when you have a strong foundation, it allows you to bounce back. And to me, that's the key for this group of young, hungry, talented players, as well as a veteran group of players that knows what it takes to get this program back where we all want it to be. I love the makeup of our coaching staff. I know I had the media out to my house a couple of days ago, and you guys got a chance to hear firsthand from the experience, from the mentality of what this coaching staff brings. They bring a tremendous amount of energy, a tremendous amount of detail. And from a development standpoint, I've already seen the fruits of having some of the coaches that we've brought in about how the guys work this summer. There's a real excitement in our building. There's obviously been a lot of change within our athletic department. I know my boss, Jim Smith, is here today, and as I've said before, there's a tremendous amount of alignment. And there's a newness with the energy of bringing in and having the type of change that we've had. I can't wait to get out there today. I really can't. To see just, it's kind of like Christmas in August, as I usually call it. I know it's July 30th, so you guys will say that I'm a little early, but it's Christmas time for us as football coaches because we get to find out just what kind of team we have, and then we get to start building the culture that we'll need to get us through a really tough season. But with that said, it's time.
And with that said, it's time to respond to what Coach Loxley had to say.
Well,
that was about 35 minutes of gold. Wish we had more time to listen to the entire thing, but fans, you want to listen to this whole press conference. It is on the Maryland.
Yeah, we got to
YouTube
post that,
page.
man. We got to post
Yeah,
that somewhere.
Yeah, but Coach Loxley.
But for Christmas time in August, he does have a lot of new toys, man. I mean, there's and we had a chance to converse with a lot of them. And I'm just saying, man, the there might have been 2% body fat on the entire team. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that other Maryland teams weren't like swole, but this is the next level that I've seen here, man. Because you know, I'm old enough to remember Vernon Davis. You know what I'm saying? You want to talk about somebody who's chiseled? These guys like lean. It's crazy, man.
Yes. Yes.
I mean,
It makes me want to get back in the gym myself. It's like, you know, I'm not quite that young anymore, but hey, you know, I got a little something left in the tank. I can probably, you know, got some years of eligibility left. I can probably roll with these kids.
yeah, Dylan Fontes. Let's just talk about him for a second. I looked at him. I said, "So what are you at? Like 260?" He goes, "Nah, I'm 295." I was like, "What?" I mean, dude. I was like, "Wow!" And he's fast, and you know, he likes to. He wants to be like Micah Parsons. You know, when you got the mentality of guys like that, it just has to make you hype if you are a Terp fan. So,
Yeah,
you know, since we are streaming right now on my Facebook page, hit us up. Give me your thoughts on how good. What are your expectations for the Terps football team this year? Do you just want to go to a warm weather bowl game, or do you want to go to the college football playoff? I think where you fall on that. What to you? And I'm gonna pose this question the next time that I have a chance, because I was going to ask it the other day. So many people had questions who on the local beat they couldn't get to me on it. So I'm gonna put it on you for a second.
Mm-hmm.
What does a successful season in 2025 looks like for the Terps?
Well, for me personally, I would believe that a solid 8-win season on the low end, because I believe one thing Maryland has always consistently done is put up offensive numbers. I saw an interesting stat that Maryland led the Big Ten in offensive plays last season in 2024. So that means they are on the field putting up numbers, you know, moving the ball up and down the field. So and with the play at quarterback, they have three options with Christian Martin, Malik Washington, and Justin Martin to who can probably lead this team. Martin has the only one of the three who has on-field experience from UCLA, just transfer from UCLA. So it depends on what they. I've been saying this since we started the show. It depends on what they get at quarterback. The quarterback play last year, the quarterback play was inconsistent at best. This year, they have three guys who Coach Loxley said, no matter who starts, the playbook doesn't have to change. All three of them have similar skill sets to where they can run the same plays. If one of them, you know, whoever breaks out, they don't have to change much of anything for the playbook. And with bringing in, like we said, talked to a kid, Jalil Farouk, wide receiver who transferred from Norman, from Oklahoma to come home to play at Maryland, who is going to take the spot of Taj Felton as probably the number one guy on the team, as the number one target for the receiver. And the key thing is that defense under our new defensive coordinator has improved even a bit from last year after getting exploited last year for big plays every game. If they go from like last to middle of the pack, I think this team can be at least an 8-win team with a reasonably solid bowl game. Maybe not college football playoff level, but a quality bowl game that brings in good revenue, brings in good money, good TV money. One of those New Year's Day games where it's like, it's not going to be the Mayonnaise Bowl. It's not going to be the Bluefield Bowl. It's not going to be
The New Year's games are the big college football playoff games.
They have more than those games. They literally have 8 games.
I know they got bowl week for ESPN, so that's the question.
Yeah.
Do you want to end your season on ESPN's bowl week, or do you want to be playing in the show? That's really what it gets down to me. And I'm thinking right now, all right, looking at the investment that they were not making as a university previously, and not fully capitalizing on the amount of money they could have made a long time ago with, you know, a savvier marketing portfolio inside a conference like the Big Ten, right? That's in place now. Okay. Expectations should be higher than that. And then the benchmark again. If anybody been watching this since I've been on here, and I know you sick of me saying this, Indiana's the benchmark to me. I seen it turn around one year and go, what? Why? This to me, anything less than what is something that I'm gonna say what in a manner which I would consider disappointing. I mean, now again, I haven't seen a scrimmage yet, but I know this. I don't think I've seen Maryland in the Big Ten approach a football season with more confidence than they have right now, and it's like the steady ship. It seems to be ready to sail. But I get your point. I mean, a big revenue game, it's always good to have. But I mean, you make that making the playoff too.
And and it all starts with week 1. Can you believe this year is flying by so fast? The season starts August 30th. That is basically right around the end of the month, right around the corner, August 30th.
29 days.
Against 29 days. Opening season against Florida Atlantic University. Maryland has won their they're looking to win their 13th consecutive non-conference home opener against Florida Atlantic. So that is, I mean, obviously, usually most home openers are against a lower level team, but we've said this already. It's a Florida school. Florida schools always have speed. They're always dangerous. Florida Atlantic, they're trying to make their move too. They're trying to improve their squad as well. So, but moving on, we want to talk about let's talk about.
Can I follow up on the schedule thing for a second? Because Maryland is supposed to go to Wisconsin undefeated. Okay, let's just put that out there right now. There can be no slip-offs. Those should be preseason games, really. If they're on the A game, those are like the preseason. Everything in a pro context now, because we're playing pro football. All right.
Yes.
After the Towson game. And to me, I hope Florida Atlantic, presses them a little bit. And I think that would be good for them to snap. A blowout may set the wrong tone because Northern and see, here's the trap game of the two to me, of the three, because Maryland's a prohibitive favorite against Towson. I mean, it's. Towson beats Maryland. It's national news. They'll be breaking in all over the country one day.
They'll be burning the campus down in Towson.
Yeah. Maryland. But that Wisconsin game, these games count, so coaches can't appreciate it like that. But I think when you got the savvy of two dudes, one who coached at Alabama under Saban, and then you've got Pep, who's been all over the world. With everybody from Jim Harbaugh, my goodness, David Shaw. I mean, he's seen it all. So I'm thinking that the game plans and the mere talent is better than either of the three teams. They should be 14-point games, man.
Yes.
I mean, they got you set the tone that way. But because see, the trap game is going to be Northern Illinois, though. That's the one you keep an eye on because they're MAC school. They may not have as many as you got, but them's that they got is pretty good. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And the good thing you said that you should enter the Wisconsin game 3-0 because the preseason picks on Vegas have Maryland at 4.5 wins. So I take the over.
Wow.
But,
really?
So that means that the Vegas has no faith in Maryland, which I believe they have not done their research when it comes to seeing what the team has to offer. But we can go more into the betting lines another time, probably maybe closer to the season starts. We might want to talk a little about them lines for the Big Ten win totals. We might break down the whole Big Ten as a whole when it comes to the Vegas odds of a win total.
Are we allowed to do that? Are we allowed to do that now?
For entertainment purposes only.
Exactly. I was just saying.
If you do have but remember, you have a problem.
Every time I see a college sports event, I see something from FanDuel or something.
DraftKings, Caesars,
BetMGM, man.
Fanatics, ESPN Bet, Fox Sports Bet.
Right.
Everybody has a betting site, and not to say I have a couple of those on my phone. I'm just, just for fun reasons only, just to see what.
And again, we're not begging. We would gladly, use their assistance
Yes,
for a nominal fee. You know what I mean?
like I said, take the over. But we're going to listen to a little bit from Coach Pep Hamilton about the offense, what his plans are for the offense coming up. And Mark had a very important question to Coach Hamilton, and listen to that right after this.
You can make a difference here at the Voice of College Football. Use the Amazon link. Financially contribute to the Voice of College Football without spending a penny. Same shopping experience. It's easy. Go to any video on any channel. Go to the description section and grab the link right next to the capital letters that say Amazon. Use that link, and Amazon will instantaneously convert to your account, settings, history, everything intact, just like whatever link you use right now. No difference. Pay no attention to the product that you see right there. Just go search what you want. Don't forget the Amazon link. Thank you for your support. Sincerely, the Voice of College Football.
That's right, folks. Support the Voice of College Football here on YouTube with your boy, Professor G and Charles Junga. Click on that link. Support the Voice of College Football. Support Maryland Live at the Voice of College Football. So,
and we're going to be streaming right here all season long on Friday.
Yes.
At least, and even if it's not live, it's going to be plausibly live. So,
yeah, exactly. But like I said, follow us on our social medias to get all the content when it comes to Maryland Live at the Voice of College Football. If we're not here live, we're definitely here in spirit, and we'll definitely still find a way to bring you the best about Maryland football. So moving on to second down, we're going to talk about the new offensive coordinator, Pep Hamilton. You've had the opportunity to talk to this gentleman several times throughout the years, and we talked about him earlier this season in the offseason about what he brings this team. What do you think that his skill set as having the 25 years coaching in college, pros, and the X/UFL? And the fact that we do have 3 young quarterbacks, so I would consider him a quarterback whisperer. He's coached with Andrew Luck, Justin Herbert, some quarterbacks who've made to the pros, who've shown that they are legit top quarterbacks, along with Coach Lofty, who's coached some other great quarterbacks who are playing in the pros now. So, what about this gentleman is going to be the difference maker of this offense, which always seems to produce numbers, puts up yards, puts up points, numbers, but now they have a quarterback who can, or 3 options of quarterback who can, take it to another level.
I think you kind of answered the question there, because Pep is just another level. You're talking about a brilliant offensive mind. You know what I mean? And it's funny to have watched him come from Howard University in D.C., that is, playing under ESPN's Jay Walker. And I would have never thought that he would become one of the most brilliant minds in the game. I mean, I think, and when you're fortunate to have been able to be groomed by some of the people that have groomed him, even before he got into Harbaugh and David Shaw and those guys at Michigan and Stanford, respectively. He played for a guy named Steve Wilson at Howard that kind of groomed him in the old school virtues of the NFL, because he played for years with the Cowboys. And to watch him just kind of absorb being coached and now pushing it out there. And he's real creative. He's been around a lot of offensive philosophies. I think in a perfect world, he'd like to set the tone with a hard-nosed running game, because he knows that that's what wins in the Big Ten. But you got dynamic quarterbacks, and Maryland's always had great skill players. So I would say that the thing that makes him great, Chuck, is the fact that he's got a brilliant mind. He knows how to scheme. He also knows how to make adjustments, and when the game's on the line, man, it's going to look really, really pretty, some of the things they do offensively. But at the end of the day, I think Maryland's going to be a lot more smash mouth, and I'm pretty sure that Locks and everybody inside the program wants to be physical, and that goes with the offense. I don't think it's going to be flying fancy. I think the defense is really going to be the key, but Pep knows that. And if you're lacking something on defense, you got to run the ball, because if you score too fast in this conference, you can get burned. you know, if your defense isn't tight. So that's the way I see it, man. I just think he gets it, man. I think this is the spot for him at the right time to effectively, you know, turn the program over. You know what I'm saying? A dynamic offensive coach who will make sure everybody's in a position to make the play. They're just going to have to, and that's all a coach can do, and he is a master at that.
And the fact that he's not a head coach somewhere is, I would say, kind of a crime. But hey, it's to our benefit the fact that we have him as our coordinator.
Hey, he was the first Washington Defenders coach, man. Come on.
Yes. Hey, and once
that was
again,
before the beer crawl. For those of you who know anything about that.
Oh yeah, I was part of the very first beer snake, by the way, ladies and gentlemen.
Sure.
So don't wanna pat myself on the back there, but he was a head coach there. But and then, by the way, shout out to the Defenders winning the UFL championship this past season. But let's hear some opening comments from Coach Hamilton about what he wants to do with this office.
Well, good mid-morning. I think it was a good thing that I had the opportunity to catch the tail end of Coach's presser. One of the things that he mentioned, you know, with regards to just still searching for an identity for the 2025 iteration of Maryland football's team. It starts for us today when we hit the field. And our guys, they worked hard throughout the summer. You know, we felt like we had a productive spring ball, and but now, you know, now that we've conditioned our guys on how to work, we're gonna, you know, have the opportunity to find out, you know, who can actually go out and give us a chance to win games. One of the things that I would say that is unique about, I guess, the landscape today with regards to our locker room here at the University of Maryland is we have a lot of guys that hadn't played a bunch of college football. And I liken it to the opportunity that I had to work for the Cleveland Browns organization in 2016, where we had 19 rookies on the active roster. And going into that season, there was there was a lot of opportunities for young players to show that they could, you know, compete at a level that gave us a chance to win. And as a coach, I learned a lot about just how to approach a situation in which you have so many unknowns. You know, you don't have as many known commodities. And it started with us just, you know, making sure that we're tough, smart, and reliable, just having a tough football team, not beating ourselves. And so, you know, that's part of our approach here for Maryland's offense this upcoming season, just to go out and let's play smart football. You know, you go back and look at the games that they played last year, the games that didn't work out the way that we hoped they would work out. And if you really audit those games, you'll see that it was never a matter of having inferior talent. That was never the case. It was always just a situation in which, you know, in certain moments in the game, you know, we needed guys to not only make plays, but just have the discipline to not, you know, create situations in which it was detrimental to the team. And so we're going into this camp with the mentality that we're going to be tough, smart, reliable, but we're going to really try and inundate our guys with a lot of situational football so that they can rehearse some of the things that'll come up in the game throughout the season.
That is so big. Rehearsal. Yeah. That's it. That constant repetition means that you create muscle memory or mental reps and all that. Gives you a greater context in the moment. I hope folks appreciated that. He dropped knowledge that not only applies in football, but life. I'm like, wow, let's create scenarios for the guys to be ready. That's it. I mean, mm-hmm. I'm giving you the answers to the test, and in crunch time, you have to answer those questions. I mean, that's just the difference between winners and losers, you know?
No doubt. He, by the way, he was looking kind of, Pepper's looking kind of swollen out there. You know, he can teach.
I mean, you got free access to world-class gym. You would be too.
Yeah, I should have took advantage of that while I was in college there, but mm-hmm. but I digress. Yeah, I'm. He has a very calm confidence about everything. He just like seems to be like he doesn't seem like the situation's too big for him. He's like, this is the time we put in the practice, we put in the work now, and then that will be where August 30th you will see a product of something that's going to be like, hey, this
It
is what
won't
we've
be a
been working for
finished
all summer.
product.
It won't be a finished
It'll be
product, but
under
it will definitely be.
construction.
It'll be under construction, but you'll see some bits and pieces of a finished product that will be like, okay, I like what I see here. I see what they're going with, and then that maybe will give fans the patience to ride this out for the long haul.
Yep, I think that I'm really interested because once the conference schedule gets heavy, man. I mean, they're coming right out of the class. You got to go to Wisconsin. Washington comes here, then Nebraska after that, and then a long road trip to UCLA.
Mm-hmm.
Well, hey, we'll learn a lot. October's going to be tricky because you never know what you're going to get with Northwestern. They're always,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they never seem to have the talent, but they're always the team that's clipping somebody that they shouldn't.
Yeah, and they smoked us last year. I was watching the
Yeah,
game.
man, you're like, wow.
I was like, we should win this game, and then that was probably the start of the downfall of last season when it came to Maryland football and how finishing 4-8 because they won 3 out of the first 5 games and then they finished 4-8. So you do the math of how well they played last year. But
And,
I
and
want to go to
Michigan
one.
comes here.
Yes,
Michigan
and
comes here. It's the last home game. So if you're trying to get through, but you got, and another benchmark for me is going to be the Rutgers game.
in
And I'm gonna
Jersey.
tell you
Yes.
why. I'm gonna tell you why. That's a recruiting battle type game. A lot of people don't respect New Jersey high school football the way that they should.
Mm.
But Jersey has put out a lot of great players, and most of them would go down south. Particularly Miami did big back in the 80s and 90s
Mm-hmm.
with kids from Jersey. So too did Maryland when they were in the ACC. Now you've got Rutgers as your Big Ten. I don't know. Can we call them middleweights in the conference right now?
Yeah,
Or
we call them
cruiserweights?
middleweights.
All right,
Yeah,
they're middleweight.
middleweights. Yeah.
Trying to fight their way up to heavy.
Mm.
You got to win that game to win those recruits. You
And
got to be dynamic.
It's a funny thing you said about recruits because you asked Pep a very important question at the media day about recruiting.
Been knowing you for a long time.
Right.
I remember you and I had a conversation when you were at Michigan and you came over to Bowie and did a camp. And one of your big things was the ability to recruit the state of Maryland. In your spot now, how important is that to kind of lock that, door around so that you get the top prospects from the area to consider Maryland first?
Well, Coach Locks and our recruiting staff, I mean, they've already established a program that's allowed us to have 2 of the best recruiting classes, 2 top 25 recruiting classes here in the past couple years. And so that's already in place. I would hope that that myself, Coach Ted, our defensive coordinator, us having the opportunity to just share some of the experiences that we've gained in over the years in the NFL, that would be something that would be attractive to some of the young players in the area as well.
Keep them home.
Yeah.
You win.
There you go. I mean, it's pretty simple. It's like, hey, we got experience. We put people in the pros. We've coached people in the pros. You want to get to the pros, you come work with us.
Now, here's an interesting sidebar to that, though. With free agency,
Mm-hmm.
kid get tired of being in Oklahoma, he come home, play for the big games.
Norman or DC.
Just
Norman or DC. Norman, like where do you want to hang out? In
Right.
Norman, Oklahoma, or
no, make your money
DC?
in Norman, and then you come back to DC-ish.
Mm-hmm.
That I'm anxious to see how that works, though. But again, nothing against Norman, but come on, they don't have any go-go down there. Now you got to have your go-go if you live in the DMV.
And no crab cakes either.
No
crab cakes and football. That's what Maryland does.
Yes. Anyway, but I like the mix, man, and I think in many respects, Pep's friendship and the bond that they share with Loxley is something that's intangible, which is kind of going to make this thing click. And and they're not going to make the same mistakes twice. At least Pep's not.
Mhm.
You know, I think they're going to put people in good position. I think they probably are seeing how the schedule plays out early on and knowing that they got to prepare for. I mean, it's murderer's row after the 20th.
No
After the
doubt.
20th of September, man, and then you get a bye week, which is a cool thing. Then they come back November 1st with a long trip. No, they got Washington and Nebraska at home.
Yeah, I mean,
Winnable game.
the winnable games. These home games are huge too, because you have like Washington was playing for the national championship not too long ago.
Yeah.
Like I said, we had Indiana have come out of nowhere last year to make the college football playoffs. Michigan played won the national championship against Washington in that same game a couple years ago. So I'm saying the excitement should be there. I'm hoping that the student body understands the excitement possibly happen with this team, and I hope they starting game one, show up and show out. Student body of Maryland. You should be winning that game. It's gonna be exciting to see put it this way, kids. Don't party too much the night before. Save it for the game, the day of. They come on around noon, August 30th, and check out your Maryland Terrapins football. But before we wrap this segment up here, I want one more question about Pep, and that is, as you said there, it's about being, putting the work in now early to get for results later. His experience, and what you know from him. What are your final thoughts about Pep as the offensive coordinator before we move on to defense?
I think he's a perfect fit, especially working with his head coach, his offensive concepts. And I think he's probably going to have an offense that can beat you either way. If you figure out what they're going to try to do to punish you when they run the football, and at the end of the day, they're going to want to run. I know it's all sexy and whatnot to throw the football around, and they'll take some shots and get them to the skill players. But I think that he was going to devise an offense that Maryland's going to play probably ball control football. And what's that thing? They kill you with 1,000 cuts.
Yes, about 1,000 cuts.
Yeah, I think that's what a Pep Hamilton offense is going to look. I'm looking to see it. Based upon previous experience and looking at the talent and the base that he's working with, I would assume that's going to be the same thing this time.
All right, so both you and I have tremendous confidence in the offense this season. And like I said, Maryland has always had great offensive skill sets, but last year, what the biggest problem was the defense. They got slashed, diced, chopped, smothered, covered, and chunked, just like a Waffle House meal. And
scattered, smothered,
chunked, and diced. So, but new defensive coordinator who comes in is going to hopefully turn that thing around, and we'll talk about that right after this.
You can make a difference here at the Voice of College Football. Use the Amazon link. Financially contribute to the Voice of College Football without spending a penny. Same shopping experience. It's easy. Go to any video on any channel. Go to the description section and grab the link right next to the capital letters that say Amazon. Use that link, and Amazon will instantaneously convert to your account, settings, history, everything intact, just like whatever link you use right now. No difference. Pay no attention to the product that you see right there. Just go search what you want. Don't forget the Amazon link. Thank you for your support. Sincerely, the Voice of College Football.
That's right, folks. Thank you for supporting Maryland Live at the Voice of College Football. I am your boy, Charles Young, along with Professor G. Mark Gray. And we're going to switch the topic to the defense, which is, what's the old saying, defense wins championships, right?
It does. Yeah, it's offense that sells the tickets, but it's defense that wins the title.
Exactly. Offense fills the seats. Defense, pays lines the pockets.
Yeah.
So Maryland, like I said, was not very good defense last year. Also, they did have a murderous row of the best of the Big Ten playing against Ohio State, playing against Oregon.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm not surprised them getting smoked by those teams, but, they're going to have to this year. They don't have Ohio State or Oregon this year, so they might have a better chance to show a better defense. And they do have several guys who who are going to step up from last year to this year to be more impactful this year in defense. But I want to play a little bit from Coach Ted Machino, excuse me, about what he has to bring to the defense this season.
It's great that you all are here. Good morning, and just wanted to touch on a couple things before we get started. I know I speak for myself, and I believe I speak for our staff and for our players. It's great to be back. We are all recharged and ready. That doesn't mean that we ever took our foot off the gas. It's been on the gas since we've all been together. But what I will tell you is when the guys walk back in the door the day that they report for training camp, it's a different vibe, and it's really cool to be a part of that. And I know that they're just as excited as I am, and our enthusiasm as a staff matches theirs, so we're excited to get started. We are always defensively and even individually and as people, as we go through our lives in the process of becoming something. I think that I'm a lifetime learner, and I hope our players look at it the same way. I know that we're not the people we want to be yet, but we're sure glad we're not the people we used to be. We're all getting better all the time, and I think that that's an important part of what we're trying to instill defensively, is that we are all in a process, and that process has to continue to move down the road in everything that we do and every day. I believe that the best way to have a competitive team is to build a really competitive roster, and that's a testament to what Coach Loxley and this staff has done over the last year and beyond of putting together a very competitive group of football players. When you have a competitive roster, that leads to depth, and when you have depth, then that allows you to build a number of different systems and put things in place that allow for different players to use their dominant traits as often as possible, and that's the goal defensively. With our roster, I feel like we've got, just talking position by position, I think we've got a great group, a good amount of depth on the defensive front. I think that we've got some players that are emerging and ascending. I think we've got some established guys that still don't have a ton of experience because they're still young, but I think they're good players. At the outside linebacker group, which is the group I'm working with, we are very young, and we are talented, and we are fast, and we're long, and we're smart, and we're tough, and all the things that we're looking for in that group. And I think that that group, as in most systems and most programs, that's going to be a really important group to our success as we move through it. Our inside linebacker group, we've got the bell cow of our defense in that group, and Daniel Wingate. He's had an unbelievable offseason, and I know that with all of the things that he had as requirements over the summertime, it didn't slow him down one bit from him remaining in his process of becoming the best he can be possibly for our football team. Now, then you move into the back end guys, and I think our safeties group is strong. I think our corners group is emerging and ascending. I think that there are some things in the back end that we're still trying to figure out. What is it that we're best at? What can we do well? And who are our guys that can make plays? That leads me into the next part of the thing. I think the priority over the next 25 days is going to be to find out who we are as individuals and who we are as a defense, as a collective unit. And we have enough variety in the system that as we go through the next 25 days, I think we'll have a really clear picture of what we are by the time we get to the opener.
Yeah, he put it there pretty simple. He feels like he's got a good group of people. He's got a good core.
Mm-hmm.
He feels like he's got the inside line's pretty good. The linebackers are good. He's talked about Daniel Wingate, who we'll hear from a little bit later.
Mm-hmm.
Who is who you know well, your boy, your coach, and Pop Warner level football.
Something going on with your camera. I mean your mic right quick. It's popping.
Okay, I might have to fix that a little bit. How's that for you?
It's just okay. Go ahead.
All right, like I said,
If still something that's short or something, but I can hear you.
Okay. Moving on. So we heard from Ted much about that defense there. About how, he says he got competition, great depth is a good point of what he said. He's got a good core of guys, linebacker. He said talk about Daniel Wingate. We'll hear him later. And he said like, hey, he's got the secondaries where he's got to do most of his work on the corners and defensive back. Jalen Husky, we'll also hear from later, who was switching from corner to safety. So 33 years in the game, Super Bowl champion with the Ravens. He knows Maryland pretty well because he's been in this area for a long time. Talk about what he's going to bring to the defense, because the defense was something that struggled last year. It was the Achilles heel of the team, maybe special teams as well. But we can go more into special teams next week because we do have a nice transfer from University of Richmond as our new kicker, who does have a leg. This defense. What's your thoughts about defense, man?
They look long, fast, lean. I'm just ready to see how physical they can be. Because at the end of the day, man, I'll sanitize this for being a family audience. But I had a coach tell me one time he likes fast players, he likes athletic players, but his favorite type of player is one that will knock your penis into the dirt. And that's the Big Ten, man. You get right down to it. I mean, he used another euphemism for that body parts. But that's the kind of conference that it is, man. You're going to have to play physical, hard, and tough. And really, you can offset your mistakes if you can regain your, I don't know, it's like when you take that blow that dazes you and then you come back strong. We want Gladiator.
Maximus. Are you not entertained?
Right. That's what we want. And I think that at least intensity is going to bring to it. Things happen in the course of the game. Who's calling plays? Where you at? Upstairs, downstairs? I'm anxious to see how that works and all that. I think you got experienced guys who aren't necessarily flying from the seat of their pants, and I think they'll figure it out.
Yeah, I said this is I'll keep repeating myself again over and over again until you get it. It's the defense is going to win championships. This defense is going to be the difference in this team. I am pretty confident in the offense. I feel the offense is going to do what it's going to do. They've always been able to score points. They've always been able to have speed on the outside. The running game, the receivers, the tight ends. But he said Daniel Wingate was like the first name came out of his mouth. So
yeah.
And like I said, we'll talk more about him in a little bit. But what do you think about Daniel Wingate as a possible leader, along with maybe Dylan Fontes and Jalen Husky as probably the three leaders on this defense going into 2025?
Well, you kind of put me on the spot, and I'll have to qualify. Young Mr. Wingate was coached in his early days by one of my closest friends and broadcast partners over at HSRN. And he's built for this. And it's funny you start talking about the leadership thing and coming back home. He took his world tours as well. And then he came back home, and now he's going to do his thing. I think this place probably gives him a comfort zone, and he's an incredible athlete. He covers a lot of ground. He's a smart player. He's just a smart, well-rounded kid. And, smart people in the classroom make right decisions on the field. They don't get caught up. And I would tend to believe he's not going to be the guy that's going to make a whole lot of mistakes because he's going to always be there. He may not, and at that level, the offensive player can get you, right? So everybody gets shook once or twice, but I think really, man, fundamentally and with his speed, man, I'm thinking NFL for him, to be honest with you. I don't know what round I would say he would go, but I'm saying that his skill set trends towards NFL.
And Maryland has put linebackers in the NFL. Yeah. We want to think about, lights out.
DJ Henderson.
DJ Henderson, lights out, Merriman, those guys. And Coach Montano, he's coached NFL caliber linebackers and pass rushers. So he's going to learn from one of the best in the game when it comes to the game of the defensive linebacker, which Coach Montano's focuses on linebackers this year. So, but I want to move to the players because there's no matter what the coach can do. It's up to the players to execute what the coach wants to play. So
Right.
when we come back, we're going to hear from a couple of the players about what they feel about the season coming up with Maryland football right after this.
You can make a difference here at the Voice of College Football. Use the Amazon link. Financially contribute to the Voice of College Football without spending a penny. Same shopping experience. It's easy. Go to any video on any channel. Go to the description section and grab the link right next to the capital letters that say Amazon. Use that link, and Amazon will instantaneously convert to your account, settings, history, everything intact, just like whatever link you use right now. No difference. Pay no attention to the product that you see right there. Just go search what you want. Don't forget the Amazon link. Thank you for your support. Sincerely, the Voice of College Football.
And sincerely from Charles Younger here and Professor G. Mark Gray, thank you for tuning in to Maryland Live at the Voice of College Football. We do have a few minutes left here. I don't want to keep everybody too long, but I wanted to hit a few things here with our stud players here for the University of Maryland. We want to talk about like who these players looking to make an impact, looking to make a huge impact in 2025, looking to step up. Some guys who are transfers, some guys have been here for the long haul, but we have some guys here who, like you said, Daniel Wingate, Dylan Fontes, and Jalen Husky on defense. Wish we had the opportunity to talk to more guys on offense. We also have Jalil Farouk, the transfer from wide receiver from Oklahoma, who you'll talk to as well. So we're going to play a couple. We're going to start with Jalil Farouk on offense, because we don't have too much offensive content here, but we want to get somebody from the offensive line, from the offensive fit side, who is going to be a very important part of this Maryland offense moving forward.
When you in Oklahoma, right?
Yeah, I mean, it feels good being back home, man. Truly a blessing, being back home, putting on for my city, representing, playing under Coach Loxley. Me and him always had a great relationship, so me coming back here, playing in front of my family is like, I feel like it's going to be an unsurreal moment for me, because I feel like I've never had the opportunity to play on this level in front of my family, so they only see me on TV, so I can't wait to show out in front of them.
So, big picture, aside from the foot injury, how would you describe your experience at Oklahoma?
I had a great experience. I love Oklahoma. I feel like being there made me the man I am today. Love the coaching staff. Never lost no love with none of them. So it's still all love. I feel like it was a great experience for me, to be honest.
So you played primarily in the Big 12, right?
Yeah.
Now you're in the Big 10. Did you play any Big 10 schools while you were at Oklahoma? And did you get a feel for the physicality and the intangibles?
Nah, definitely. We played a couple Big 10 schools. I feel like ball is ball. You feel me? I feel like once you're in front of me, all that conference stuff don't matter.
Okay, so let's talk about your confidence and the impact that you can have in this league right now.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure your expectations are higher for yourself than anybody else is. So how do you approach the season from that angle?
I'm approaching it by attacking it like every day, every game. I feel like I'm the best receiver on the field. I feel like I'm going to carry it for the rest of the season. I feel like every receiver on our team should too.
Playing for Pep, you got a chance to see his ball. I mean, we've seen that it works. He's worked with some of the greatest quarterbacks under some of the best coaches. How do your skill set fit into his packages?
I feel like it fits in perfectly. His packages are set up for us to win. So me being able to fulfill them shoes and step into that role, and I feel like every receiver that's on the field is going to have an opportunity to win in his offense. Like his offense is set up perfect.
And Pep came here one time to Bowie State to do a camp with Jim Harbaugh, and he told me it was important for them at the time to wrap their arms around Maryland as a recruiting base.
Yeah.
You weren't there at the time, but you one of those kids that they're trying to get. What do you think is the sales pitch to get more incredibly talented players from the state to stay at home?
If everybody from Maryland stay home, I feel like we'll be the best college in the country. And that's just my personal opinion. I feel like there's so much talent in Maryland that it doesn't get recognized because everybody goes everywhere else. And I understand, because I was one of them guys too. I felt like I wanted to get away from home, and truly it's understandable. But if everybody made that decision to stay here, I feel like we'll be one of the best colleges in the country.
He said, you know he's from here the way he says Maryland, right?
Exactly. Maryland. This is how we do it. I I just wonder. This is, and I don't want to go stat geek heavy here, but this dude on his resume, and I need to make sure I get this right so that people understand how nice this guy is. All right. Of all the great wide receivers that have played at the University of Oklahoma, he became the first with at least 100 receiving yards and 100 yards in kickoff returns in the same game. I mean, just think about that. It was against Tulsa. It was in 2023. 100 yards in receiving yardage and 126 yards and 6 catches with man, he's just unbelievable.
And that same year, he was also he was honorable mention All Big 12 selection that year as well. So not only did he put up numbers, but the people recognized him for his production.
And Texas at that time, Texas had probably just bolted for the SEC by then, right?
Yeah, 2023, I believe so, yes.
Wow, that's
6'2", 213-pound wide receiver, prototypical size, good speed, good wingspan, good hands. Average 14.6 yards per catch, so he can get down the field.
Right.
And after losing Taj Felton, excuse me, I'm gonna say Taj Bentley, Taj Felton. Taj Felton to the NFL, who went to play for the Minnesota Vikings. By the way, that's gonna get. By the way, on a side note, fantasy, if you're looking for a sleeper pick, Taj Felton at wide receiver. You're wide receiver 3 on your fantasy team. I'm just saying, but I digress.
Yeah, please.
Yeah, but Jalil Farouk from Atlanta, Maryland comes, with the Wise. He's basically he's right down the road from College Park. So he came home
around the corner from me.
Yes, around the corner from me too. I'm like right down the street too. It's like, we are right. We're neighbors basically.
Yes.
So talk about the fact that this kid has all the tools. He's got the right mentality. He believes that there's enough talent in Maryland to where Merlin. If everybody stayed, who's all the talent stays in Maryland, this team would be one of the top competing schools in the college football.
You're right. I mean, put it to you like this: in the time that I've been covering, the local high school scene, if you will, through Days WOL and 106.7 The Fan, the whole bit. I have to say that he hit the nail on the head, bro. Because I think about the players that left here. Names like Joe Hayden. Remember him?
All pro with the Browns, yeah. No.
Right. Joe Hayden was, I think he was all conference quarterback and defensive back. All right. Yeah. That's the kind of talent that was coming out. There was a reason that Steve Spurrier and, ultimately Nick Saban and Jim Harbaugh were visiting these campuses. Okay. And we're not talking about some, private school. These are kids who are in public schools.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you keep and they're talented and they get coached and they play in really good leagues early on, and you got to keep those guys, but sometimes you do need the experiences of going away to appreciate what you have here. And at that age, I understand it. Some kids just want to get away. But if that's the case, and you got a fallback option, if it doesn't work for you in the middle of anywhere, making money, come home, make some more. I mean, that's the game we're playing now, right? I mean, you can have your life experience at one school and get down to business and make some money, and then you have your, set yourself up for life experience at the next stop. That makes it a better opportunity for you. I mean, that's the free agent game that they're playing, and that's something, and that's why I got beef with Saban, because he wants coaches to have all the control, and the players are the commodity, and that that to me that thinks too much like Alabama, and I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, anybody who knows me, I am pro-labor, and the fact that the labor is getting taken care of, that's all that matters to me.
But you do have to perform. That's it.
Yes, exactly.
And you got to take the scrutiny that comes with it from, people who have voices and people who, want to see you do well, but, they make a living talking about the games people play. And when you ain't playing that well, everybody's not going to give you shine. This social media culture kind of has people softening up, like this cyberbullying thing. Never got that. How do you beat a cyberbully? Turn your computer off. Don't go to your phone. I never understood that.
Well, it's 2025. It's kind of hard not to be on your phone because I have, and trust me, there is issues with cyberbullying. I don't understand either, but I've heard from several journalists, a lot of psychologists, who say it's bigger than you think. But that's above my pay grade and above my education level. I'm just a J school kid from Maryland.
Yeah,
but
that's what I'm saying. But anyway.
Yeah. But let's move to the other side of the ball, the defense, which we got several great content from several players. First, I want to talk to Dylan Fontes here, who we talked to. You see, we said earlier in the show, 6'7", 295, and looks like lean, mean, red and gold machine, ready to eat quarterbacks every day of the week. So I'm going to play a little bit from Dylan Fontes here and see what he has to say about Maryland football.
And defensive coordinator, how's that going to affect your game? Because it seems like Coach Monchino really wants to be a lot more aggressive.
Yeah. I feel like it's going to affect my game tremendously. It's going to be more play-oriented, you know what I'm saying? Like, we want to go and make plays. We want our defensive line to make plays. We want to go attack the ball, and we want to go get after the quarterback. So we're going to be splitting off double teams, you know what I'm saying? We're going to be playing football. We're going to be playing exactly how it's being coached. It's being coached to be aggressive, to go get the man, go get what you want, and that's what's going to make plays.
It seems like that plays into the fabric of the championship formula that you have to have in the Big Ten. Talk about how important it is to be fast, strong, and physical in this conference.
In this conference, everyone's huge. You know what I'm saying? Size is not a problem here at all. So in order to sit there and try to react off the man, it's not the same as going attacking the man. I have a lot of weight. I'm 295. You know what I'm saying? I'm a heavy dude. So be able to get that weight going and running straight through somebody, that's much different than waiting for him. So I feel like it's very important to be able to go attack the man and go make a play with the size, speed, and agility I got.
And you said he said 290?
295.
295.
It's sliding.
And there ain't no fat on here either. Let's be clear about that. Real talk for a second. When you look at the guys at the next level who are defensive linemen, do you have anybody that you like that or borrow some things from?
Borrow? I mean, I do a lot of recycling from everybody. Right. I like to watch all different types of teams. But I usually pick by the team I like to watch. I love to watch the Steelers. I like the Steelers because they have a very a mentality. Like, you could tell, you turn on their teeth and you watch every down is the same mentality. They're gonna go get after it and they're gonna go make a play. I really like to watch the Broncos. They get after the quarterback, most sacks in the league. They are a seriously defensively oriented team. Like, I really enjoyed watching them last year. A player for me personally, though, I like Calais Campbell. He's an older guy, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Longevity. He has a lot of height, and he played in the inside, so I feel like that's somebody who I could relay my game to.
It seems like this program right now is sort of a diamond in the rough. Dust off a little bit of stuff, and you're going to get your shine this year. Do you think you're creeping up on folks this year?
Creeping up on folks in
the conference. People may say that's just Maryland, and they may be in for a shock.
Oh, no, I don't think. I know, man. I know. That's I couldn't even find the words, but I know for a fact, I can look you straight in your eye and tell you this is not a diamond in the rough. This is going to be exactly what it's going to be from week 1 to week 12. You're going to see it as soon as you turn on the film, and you're going to know this is Maryland football, and it's going to be a signature defense, it's going to be a signature offense, and it's going to be games won.
So you don't think you're going to shock anybody? Do you think out of other?
No. As soon as they see week 1, that's what they can expect. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm ready to do.
And talk to me about the West Coast traveling thing. And a lot I try to convey to our audience is that you go on 2-3 time zones. You're student athletes. There's an enormous amount of challenge that goes with that. How do you navigate that as a player?
I mean, you can only do what's on the schedule. So it's a really good job of the operations, the operations team getting everything set up for us all the way out there. They handle that months in advance, and then we have everything set up. We travel a couple of days in advance. the academic advisors helping us with our schoolwork to make sure that everything is handled by the time our game comes up, and making sure that all the things are put in place for us to be able to not have to worry about the time zone, not have to worry about the climate, not worry about football, and that's exactly what it's been. We went one game out in Oregon, and it was beautiful. The air was different. I could breathe over there. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, it was really it was a good time.
That kid has a solid head on his shoulders, man. I'm impressed. Like every time I hear this kid talk, I was like, yeah, this is what we need.
And you could see him like playing for Mike Tomlin when he talked about the Steelers.
And the great comparison he said was Calais Campbell, because Calais Campbell's he's a tall defensive interior lineman. He's like Campbell's like 6'7", 6'8". And I can see the comparison with 6'7", 6'8", 290, 300 pounds, tall,
fast,
muscular,
quick.
Fast, quick, get that, once you get that 30-pound motor going downhill, it's going to be hard to stop this shit.
Yeah.
And the fact that he's on top of his academics too, which is one thing we don't really talk about when it comes to college sports, is the fact that it's two jobs you have to do. You have to not only you have to play on the field, you have to keep your grades up in order to keep your eligibility to play on the field, and and if your eligibility goes away, the paycheck goes away. So I'm impressed with the kid. I'm thinking he is the leader that they're going to need on that defensive line, especially the fact that he was the 2024 Jackie Robinson Community and Impact Award winner, for basically providing impact to the community and giving back to the community off the field. So
mentors and stuff like that.
Exactly.
and role models for the kid in his neighborhood, and definitely showing some loyalty to the program. I mean, he's a New York kid that got a scholarship, and now he's going into his junior year. So it's interesting how it's working out for him, and I hope it works out for Maryland for both sides, because if he can become that terror off the edge or help to set an edge, then that's going to help them out. Because as much as I think Maryland is going to want to run the football, I will say that I think that the Big Ten knows how to stop the run as a conference, and Maryland definitely has to get better at doing that.
And another gentleman who's going to help stop the run is Daniel Wingate. We talked about him a lot earlier. Coach Marchino talked about him as well. Let's hear what Wingate has to say about this year in College Park.
Coming off a season like it, and then there's still fresh energy. Talk about the energy going into 2025.
The energy is through the roof. We got a lot of guys that are just excited to be able to go out there and play. We got a lot of young guys that are able to step up into new roles and just go out there and ball, and it's just an exciting feeling right now.
Talk about the aggressive mindset that Coach Monachino has in terms of bringing the NFL intensity into your room, and how that has resonated with the team.
The aggressive mindset he has is just to go out there and play football. He makes it to where it's simple for us to go out there and not get too distracted on what's going on, and getting confused with the plays. He makes it to where we're able to go out there, line up, and play fast, and it's amazing.
And talk about the physical nature of just how tough you got to be to compete in this conference. I mean, every week you can't be a line. So talk about how that works out for you.
Just having the mindset that every week I got to go out there and give my 100% every time. It's the Big Ten. You can't ever sleep on no teams. Every team here is here for a reason. So the fact that we're going against them, we got to bring our A game every time.
All right. When you see a team like Indiana just come out of nowhere last year, turn it around, and next thing you know, they're playing in the second weekend in the college football playoffs, does that give you hope that Maryland can catch that same type of lightning in a bottle and do something like that?
For sure. It just goes to show that, one season doesn't define you. It's a new year, it's a new team, so the sky's the limit. We don't ever want to limit ourselves to a certain amount of wins or nothing. We can do what we put our minds to, and if it's to go to the playoff college football, then that's what we want to do.
Is there a linebacker that plays at the next level that you see similarities to in the game with the that you might want to pattern your game after?
Yeah, I would love to pattern my game after Fred Warner. You know, he's the best in the business. You know, he's a guy that can do it in the run, in the pass. You know, he's just a guy that you got a game plan for. That you know, he's gonna make plays, and I just model myself to be just like that.
Talk to me about the West Coast trips. I mean, that's to be a student athlete. You're gonna take a 4 or 5 road, so like you play the game, come back home, and people seem to forget that you're students, studying and all that kind of stuff. How do you balance that with the extra travel and stuff like that?
You know, the way Coach has it set up, we have academic advisors, you know, travel with us to help us out, you know, if we have a big assignment or if we have an assignment just in general, you know, they're there to make sure that we get those things done. We fly there, I think, a day or two early just to make sure that that isn't in the way when it's time to get ready for the games.
So what is the coolest road trip now?
Coolest road trip now? I would say going to UCLA at Rose Bowl. That's going to be the truth.
So count.
Yeah, that's going to be the truth.
Thanks a lot, man. I see you around the way.
The Rose Bowl.
I'm telling you, that is a perk.
Mm-hmm.
What's the old commercial say? Membership has its privileges. Yes,
that is true. And again, once again, he also talked about, you know, being able to keep up with his studies on those long road trips across the country, and the fact that the support that the school does give its student athletes when it comes to, you know, making sure that, hey,
right,
yes, you have to keep up your grades, but we're going to try to give you every opportunity to help you. Right. I mean, the normal student might have a part-time job, but they're not traveling in their part-time job across the country. So, you know, you and with technology, you know, the Zooms and the internet and stuff like that, it helps that you can still stay in contact with your professors on these long road trips if you have questions. So,
or in the world of AI, quite frankly,
yes.
you got teachers who can put classes on your computer. So after
exactly.
practice, and when you wake up in the morning before practice, or you walk through or whatever.
You don't have to be in class during class hours to get the class work done. And he said he compared himself to Fred Warner. For those who don't know, Fred Warner is a dude. That man, he's a grown ass man. He is one of the best linebackers in the NFL. And if we can get a quarter of what Fred Warner could do from Daniel Wingate, it's over. It's over.
Yeah. I mean,
this kid is going to go sideline to sideline, tackling everybody and the mama. That's how good this kid's going to be.
Well, I mean, here's the deal, man. He had 50 tackles last year.
Mm-hmm.
And what was that, 12 games? 30 of them were solo. So that just lets you know out there in space, he can really do his thing. I think he's probably a little smarter right now. He's an athlete at the linebacker position. I think his upside is really high, bro. I mean, I one of the people that I would be looking to break out this season would be Daniel Wingate, from the standpoint of maybe some national recognition and the type of stuff that you hear about postseason awards for. You know, I think he can, there's a lot of good defensive players, but his quickness, his savvy, his intelligence, he's going into his junior year. He stays healthy, man. He takes that next step. I could see him making an all Big Ten team.
Yeah, and at 6'5", 230 pounds, again, very little any body fat on him. He is lean.
He don't look,
and
these guys don't look
as big
230 and 285 anymore.
No,
you know what I'm saying? You think about like portly guys with little legs and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
These guys are long and lean, athletic looking dudes, man. I'm like, wow.
It's a different era of athlete now. You don't
training too.
Yeah, I would think when I think in my head 230. I mean, I'm 230 myself, but I'm not muscle like that.
Right.
I'm 230 the other way. I think it's like it's like, you know, long arms, you know,
right,
flexible, quick, you know, fast switch, not overly bulky, which is going to be good because I feel like them being more lean. More lean style than versus overly bulky. They're going to have fewer muscle issues, muscle pulls, muscle tears. Because I've noticed a lot of guys who are built like, I don't know if you remember the wide receiver from back in the day. He played for the Arizona Cardinals. I think his name is Mike Boston, or he was like a 6'5", 250-pound wide receiver who was always pulling muscles. So like you can't like I feel like being like the nice these guys who are these nice lean long guys who are more athletic, more agile. You'll see them on the field more often, which is like I said, the best ability is availability. If you're not on the sideline or in the training room dealing with pulls and strains, you're gonna make a big impact in the college football team this year.
Yeah. Yeah. Now there are some inevitable injuries, the sprained ankles, sprained knees, yada yada that. But you can try to mitigate as best you can strains and pull because more muscle means you gotta do a lot more flexibility training. And I would say these guys look like they're doing some more cross training than just lifting, which is great. Hey, look, that looks like something that's cutting edge. Now, again, and I will say this, man, this incoming class is probably finally taking advantage of the whole new
training
athletic
center,
facility,
the
training center. It took a while for it to, get up and done. And for those of you who may be checking us out around the country, it's kind of where Cole Fieldhouse was, or still is. That's will be Cole Fieldhouse repurposed, so to speak, in real estate speak. But they have that's a magnificent facility now. And again, one who's watched football kind of just be the sport to get you to basketball season in these parts, because ACC football hadn't necessarily ranked with the Big Ten or the SEC in my lifetime. Even in its best days, it had never done that. But now, in order to compete, you have to have facilities, and Maryland's facilities aren't second class. Okay, they may not be as big as some of these places, and you may not have video games in your locker, like how that wins some games. I don't know, but still, you have a legitimate major college program environment now. You know what I'm saying? When you got facilities of life, training staff that's on the cutting edge, athletic administrative leadership that has done enough before so that you can say you got confidence in they're not only charting the course, but following through on their promises. I just think that all that plays into what happens on the field right now, and I don't think you'll have any of the stuff that what was his name, Kevin Willard was running his mouth about on his way out.
Sometimes you just gotta wait, Kevin. Just gotta wait. It's just nothing. Rome wasn't built in a day. But
although I will say the athletic administrative hires that they made were done swiftly and professionally. I don't think we can. I don't think we can necessarily give them any more credit for doing a job under duress and having it done quickly, efficiently, tactfully. And again, that's even bigger than the athletic department. That says a lot about Dr. Pons, the president. That's there's certain mandates that come from the top, and then I'm giving you guys free range to do this, that, and the other, but I got to be a part of the process. And at least to this point, this looks like a well-run, organized machine on a macro level. You know what I'm saying? So how it trickles down, I'm interested to see that. But I'd have to say, since it is what it is now, we're talking in the context of being the pros, Maryland's front office is a lot better. For those in our area who remember the front offices of the team formerly known as the Redskins, the Commanders, we've seen raggedy front office around here. I'm not going to mention anything about the pro basketball franchise either, but this looks like a professional operation.
They play pro basketball in D.C.?
Yeah, they did. Yeah.
Okay.
Some of the players have actually gone on to do great things elsewhere. Have you heard the latest about Gilbert Arenas?
Okay. But on positive note, hey, on the side note, if you win an NBA championship, come play for the Wizards and then leave, you'll win an NBA championship. It's statistically proven. Everybody who does that wins a championship, even JaVale McGee.
Please.
But I want to close the show up here with Jalen Husky, who is defensive back who converted from corner to safety this year. Coach Monachino talked a lot about him in his press conference too. So I want to hear a little bit from him before we wrap up the show today.
Jalen, you talked about making the transition last year as a defensive back. Are you more comfortable going into the season at the new spot than you were last year?
I think I am extremely comfortable right now. I mean, I think I would be comfortable no matter where they put me right now. Like, I think it would be an easier change for me this year if I were to switch back to corner or if I switch back to, if I went to like a nickel position. But right now at safety, I'm very, very comfortable.
That versatility, talk about how important is that to your game, because you seem to be like that ghost type of player that they can put into any different spot. And if you're an offensive player, you don't know where you're coming from. So that would be an advantage to your game.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, for me, it's all about being able to help the team win. And if I'm able to help the team win from corner, I want to play corner. If I'm able to help the team win at nickel, I want to play nickel. So just, learning the defense and being able to know what each and every single position does, where they're supposed to be, how they fit the run, how they fit in the passing game is extremely important in my game.
Talk about Coach Monachino and his presence, because he comes off as one who wants to be aggressive, but it may be cautious aggressiveness. Would that be a fair?
I mean, I'm not going to get into the scheme, but like I know as a person, he's a very, very he's kind of intense, but it's all in good fun and in a great way of being able to lead and teach young men.
He's a coach.
Yes.
He's a coach's coach. He's a player's coach.
Yes.
Okay, so how much? Well, you talked about big plans for yourself, goals and dreams that you had. But when you see a team like Indiana did what they did last year, I mean, they came out of nowhere. They ultimately ended up playing in the second week of the college football playoff. Do you think Maryland has the potential to do something like that?
I definitely believe we have the potential to do something like that. But for me, I think in the way of goals that you have to win each and every single day first before you can even think about a game. We have 30 days before we get to our first game, so we have to win each and every single day and make sure we're doing the things on the field the right way so we can prepare right for the first game and have a shot to win that game.
So what is a perfect day or a good day in practice over these next 30 days? How do you define that? What does it look like?
It looks like being a loud, communicated defense, a team that's running to the ball, a team that is doing their assignment, and a team that is dependable and consistent.
Now, where are you from?
I'm from Frederick, Maryland.
Okay, so how important is for somebody like you who knows the potential here, who can have be a part of the building block of the tradition? When you look at players like yourself who have traditionally left here, do you think this is the time when more players should start considering staying home to play?
I definitely believe that. I didn't come to Maryland out of high school. I took 2 years at another school before I was able to afford the opportunity to come here. And I think just the resources that we have here are second to none. The facility that we have here is second to none. The coaches that we have here are second to none. We have great foundation. I mean, if you want to come play and you want to play in the best conference in the entire country, what better place to do it than your city?
And my thing is this: it looks as though, and I haven't talked to anybody who's like new athletic director or part of the administration, but people from Ohio State and who know how to make this conference work. Talk about the edge that you now have that you may not have until now.
I just met the new athletic director, and I think he will have a great plan in place for our university as a whole to move forward and become a winning program in every single sport, and not just the sports that we are typically known for.
And that's where it is. I mean, when you got somebody in the vision, and Gene Smith comes along, he's been athletics at Ohio State. I mean, it is the energy is totally different, at least to me as an outsider. Do you feel a different energy at this point?
I do feel, especially inside the building, I feel like there's a different energy about how we go about our business and how we expect to perform each and every single day. I do feel that there's our standard has elevated this year.
He said it. He said it. It's different. It's a different energy. A different energy in the building. Um,
But you know something else? He's
mhm,
another kid from around the way who had
mhm,
championship success. And again,
mhm,
those of you in the Maryland area remember a couple years back, like 2021, Quince Orchard was a beast in high
mhm,
school. They played a lot of ESPN games. As a matter of fact, he played on that team that won the championship. They were undefeated. He left.
mhm,
He went to Bowling Green. All right, first team All MAC in 2023.
mhm.
Comes home 2024, and it's on. You know, now see, you see what happens. You go, you live your dream, or so you thought, and then you come back home. Uh, you hope that Maryland players would at least want to stay in Maryland as a destination, but sometimes people want to get away from home, experience it, come back home when it doesn't work out, if you will, or there's a better opportunity. And I think this is the case as we look at the roster that Maryland has right now. They are building it. You know, sooner or later, it becomes a destination, although some people are always going to want to go somewhere that's warmer or something like that. But I can see this being a mode to um, football competitive stability, if you want to look at it as such. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If you're not a destination, then you're definitely a transfer stop. And with NIL and free agency, Maryland can be a big player in the game sooner rather than later.
And talk about playing in the big time and big time level against number one Oregon. He had 10 tackles and a
Right.
half tackle for loss. I mean, that means he was all over the field, making plays. Now, there could have been because the fact that Oregon was also throwing the ball over the field, but he was there. The guy who he's covering did not get away. He made sure he made the stops when they had the opportunity to make the stops. So, and he's, like I said, once again, he's a local kid. He's from Fredneck. He's from Frederick, Maryland.
Mm-hmm.
People don't realize that there is some football out there in Western Maryland. If you
Well,
go
there's
out there,
football all over the state of Maryland too,
yeah,
man.
yes, yes. It's not just in the DMV area. It's all over the
Yeah.
Maryland. So we got Eastern Shore, we got DMV, we got Western Maryland.
Heck, don't forget Baltimore now.
Baltimore, yeah, Baltimore. We got some. We'll talk
You
more
know.
about the next year's recruiting class. We got several guys coming from Baltimore who were 4- and 5-star recruits who are going to be, if not supplementing the players we have now, replacing some of the ones who might be losing, some of the seniors who might be leaving our program this year after the season. So, like I said, what we heard from these before we wrap it up, I want to get
St. Francis. Remember that.
St. Francis, St. Francis out of Baltimore. So before we wrap it up, I want to get your opinion from what we heard from these 4 players about their excitement for the 2025 season for the University of Maryland Terrapins football program.
Well, let me preface it by saying that hope springs eternal on media day everywhere. All right.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to temper the energy and enthusiasm with reasonable thought and analysis. And I just like there's something about the chemistry I think that they have between Pep and Loxley. And I think that Monachino's intensity is the perfect mix with all of that. They look like they're more organized. I'm anxious to see how, in the moment, the players who are extremely intelligent, motivated, and know that they can do some things they're confident too. In the moment, they just have to make the plays. I really think that it comes down because this team has been mature. They plug some holes, and I can't wait to see how this thing plays out. I just love the answer. We got to win 25 days of practice. Where's that come from for somebody that's like 20, 21 years old? Are you kidding me? Who thinks like that at that age?
They're probably getting that information from this great coaching staff who was instilling the work ethic, the fact that, hey, yeah, you might feel good now, but you still got to put the work in the next 25 days. And it is August, by the way. So
yes,
so kids, it's going to be a rough 25 days in the August in the DMV area, folks. If you've never been here this time of year, the last few weeks of July into the first few weeks of August are it's murder. It's legit.
But then remember now, unlike years gone by, there is an indoor facility. And that
Yes,
is so
we
big.
have adults at the
Yeah.
at the table who will understand the fact that, hey, if it is too hot, we're gonna bring that practice indoors. We'll get these kids hydrated. We'll keep them in shape. We won't do what happened before under
Right.
the
Jordan
coach
McNair.
who's more driven there, and the coach whose name escapes me all of a sudden. But yes, so this has been a fantastic episode of Maryland Live on the Voice of College Football. We had Media Days past Wednesday. We got a lot of great content. We got more we want to bring to you from Media Day. We have another media availability next week with Maryland football players. So this is going to be your go-to spot for
Terp coverage like no other. Okay. We're gonna bring a new flavor to it. Giving
we
it
had
to
a
you
little
straight, no chaser. You
yeah.
know?
Sorry, we had a little connection issue there. I kind of lost
Yeah, I was
track of
gonna
the
say
feed there.
I didn't want to step on you, but anyway, yeah.
I don't want to throw any shine towards Verizon Fios, but you're making it easy for Switch right now. But I digress.
Oh, okay. Hey,
I-
no, seriously. This is the time. I'm glad you brought that up because check out the Jordan McNair Foundation. I think we might want to get Marty on to talk with us about the importance of how the loss of their son has motivated them to save other lives. I think wonderful people that I know from Baltimore. We got to bring them on soon.
All right. And we do have a couple. You can find us at other places. You can find us both at MLBBro.com, where we're bringing you the best in Black and brown American baseball players.
Oh, but Cedric Mullins is gone, bro. No, bro.
The longest.
No.
The longest. Well, they do have a kid in the minors in Ricky Bradfield who might be coming up pretty soon if he can stay healthy. He's been on the injury list a lot this year, but DC does have several bros and James Wood, CJ Abrams, and if he comes back healthy, Josiah Gray. Get some guys in the minors who are coming up. But you can find us both at MLBBro.com as well as here at Maryland Live, the Voice of College Football. So before we say so long, parting take from Mark Gray.
I can't wait for football season to kick off, man. Put me in, coach. I'm ready to play on a variety of different levels, but I think this is I'm going to have a reasonable projection next week and definitely within the coming weeks about what I think is a real expectation for number of wins. Because somewhere between 8 and 10, you've got to be able to find wins there. That means they're going to have to pick some pelts up that we don't think they are going to be able to and shock the world, so to speak.
Yeah, and I am going to purchase College Football 25 and take Maryland as a program, and we would go and I'm doing some simulations and some real play and seeing how far I can take this program, go in as a dynasty mode and take Maryland to the future, baby. But once again, thanks for tuning in to Maryland Live.
We're going to channel
Voice
into
College
the
Football.
boomer Esiason days.
Yes, exactly. And I want to make sure that these kids get their likeness, image, NIL money from me playing college football live as playing a lot of Maryland football. Who knows? But again, thanks for tuning in to Maryland Live at the Voice of College Football.
Have not grown up.
I don't want to grow up. I'm a Toys R Us kid. Even though Toys R Us no longer with us, but
we won't tell my wife I'll be sneaking over just to play.
Don't worry, I got the office set up for gaming all day long, baby. So I got a nice 65-inch TV, and HD, all the bells and whistles. We will play some college football live. But back to other things. Thanks for tuning in to Maryland Live on the Voice of College Football. I am Charles Younger. You can follow me across all social media at CharlesNyonga, along with Professor G. Mark Gray. Let the people know how they can follow you.
At the Sports Groove, common spelling, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, and some other stuff too.
It's almost impossible to keep up with all the social media. You have to post stuff too. But yes,
I'm still trying to figure out what this Snapchat thing is.
Snapchat is like, I don't know if you remember Vine back in the day, it's kind of like that, but it's but at the end of the day, it's all the same.
Yeah.
If it's online from your content. So
I try not to feel like that old man that doesn't want people on their lawn, but Snapchat is just something I don't get.
Old man shakes fisted cloud. Hey Simpson here. So tune in
Doesn't
next
mean
week.
doesn't mean I doesn't have an account though. I'm saying I just don't get it.
Tune in next week at 1:00. We will bring you back some more Maryland football talk and probably some more Maryland college sports talk in general. So once again, thanks again for tuning in to Maryland Live, and we'll see you next week. Deuces, ooses.
Deuces out, y'all. Peace.